Well, two immigration issues are getting a lot of attention here in South Florida. First, the president's threatened raids to deport those living here illegally. For now, Mr. Trump says he'll hold off on the raids for a couple of weeks while lawmakers work on a solution. But immigrant communities around South Florida remain scared. In the meantime, several Democratic presidential hopefuls in Miami for the first televised debates headed to the Homestead temporary shelter for unaccompanied children to see the situation for themselves. They hope to meet with some of the estimated 2,300 migrant kids being housed there. The children came to the United States across the southwestern border with Mexico and were sent here to South Florida for processing. This week, the camp and others like it were thrust into the spotlight over questions of basic care, such as providing things like soap and toothbrushes. All this while the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, allegedly turned away donations of personal care items. Joining me now to talk more about these issues is Juan Carlos Gómez, the director of the Carlos A. Costa Immigration and Human Rights Clinic at the FIU Law School. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it, Juan.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's start off first. There's so much to unpack here when it comes to this immigration issue. But let's talk first about what the FIU Clinic does. What is it that you are doing here in this community for migrants?
Over the years, we've represented hundreds and hundreds of individuals in removal proceedings. We tend to represent people who are in basically the greatest need. We range from representing children to adults who are on the margins of society in the sense of very poor. Often we also represent people. A few years ago when DACA was taking place, we were part of a coalition. We did 2,400 plus applications for DACA to help dreamers. We've helped many people apply for citizenship, but our biggest focus is helping those who are least able to help themselves. It's a very difficult situation. This morning I was in court with a young 13-year-old girl from Guatemala who speaks Quiche. Her father speaks Quiche. She, in Miami, as we're familiar with kids being the interpreters for their parents, she is my interpreter because her father has no idea what I'm saying and I have no idea what he's saying. So it's a very complex situation that we're trying to help, and we work with our students at the law school and with volunteers in the community.
Give us a sense of what these folks look like. We throw around these terms, immigrants, migrants. But these are people who you work with. These are your clients. Why are people so desperate to come to the United States? What kinds of situations are they in that they have told you about that they're in need of help?
Often it's a question of life and death. I would say most of the individuals who we've taken on recently, for example, you hear about the tragic situations on the border. We know about the recent death of this gentleman with his little, I believe, 23-month-old daughter. And the question is, what would you do to get yourself and those you love out of hell? The violence in terms of, it's not just criminal violence, but now it's reached the level where you have governments are not protecting their citizens. Governments have failed to provide a safe society for their citizens. And so the question is, if your government can't protect you and someone is threatening your child, if I never hear another rape story in my life, I would really just be fine. But I know that this story will not end. It will continue because the violence against women, the violence against people who are powerless in their societies, and people, especially if you look at Guatemala, and you have Guatemala, you have Honduras, you have El Salvador, and you have great violence in these societies. And then, of course, you also have South Florida, where you have Venezuela, you have Nicaragua, volatile countries where horrible things are happening to people who are trying to stand up for freedom. And all of these individuals need representation. Law is not just 43 minutes plus commercial time. Cases are not resolved quickly. Individuals need help to navigate the laws. You use the word immigrant, and you have people using the word migrant. Well, there's also the word refugee. There's also the word asylee. And the question is, to be a person who fits this definition takes a great deal of technical knowledge, a great deal of advocacy.
Right. So we know that the president, he postponed the immigration raids, and he was threatening to go in and round up people who fit in certain criteria and categories. Talk about what the people who you're helping, your clients, if you will, are saying. They must have been fearful. He's postponed it now. He wants Congress to come up with some sort of a solution. We've seen that the House came up with a bill, the Senate, they're not in agreement, so that's still in the works here. But getting back to your clients, what are they feeling, what are they saying, and what are you telling them?
They feel terrorized. They're afraid. They thought they were coming for safety. They thought that like many of us who were received with open arms in South Florida in the United States, the question is, they are afraid because they're afraid. And one of the biggest problems that you see now is that, especially here in Florida, where now the police are supposed to be working with immigration, and one of the problems is that people are going to be victimized even more.
So what are their rights? And we actually have a full screen we can put up on the board here so that people get an idea. But what are the rights of somebody who's living in this country illegally?
Well, you have the right to be presented to an immigration judge. You can remain silent. It's advisable that you do not sign anything until you speak to an attorney, in that you try to see what remedies you have. There's a question as to if ICE shows up at your door and they could have a warrant, and the question is, if they have a warrant and to pick up someone, they have the right to enter, but the question is, without a warrant, you can ask for the warrant. You don't have to necessarily answer the door. But at one point, you do have to face the authorities, and the question is, people right now, what we advise is, one, go speak to a knowledgeable attorney. Two, compare with different attorneys what the advice is. Be careful of someone who promises you the impossible. Yeah. And the last part is, if you don't be afraid to, if you're a victim, if you're being abused, do not be afraid to contact the authorities to seek protection.
Juan, thank you so much. We'll have you back because there's so much more to discuss related to this issue. Thank you very much for your expertise. And the Carlos A. Costa Immigration and Human Rights Clinic at FIU is open Monday through Friday. We'll have a link for you on our Facebook page at Your South FL.